In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello, and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser, and this is my husband, Joe, who is just here for the gin.
Hello.
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 How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good. This week, this podcast, the Business for Superheroes show, is brought to you by Gooseberry Gin.
Nice.
Cheers.
It's
Gin,
very
gin.
good.
Maybe it should have a gooseberry in it.
It could have a gooseberry in it if you like. That would take more preparation than I have actually put into it.
Yes, it's basically gin, tonic and ice. But it's delicious, and it came to me from my superhero and long-time podcast listener and general all-round amazebird, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks so much for this gin. It is really delicious.
Amazing.
It is really delicious. We're having a bit of a gooseberry week at the Dingle, aren't we?
We have gooseberries. The chicken clock decided it was time to pick the gooseberries.
Yes. What Joe means by that is that we looked out the window the other day and saw that the chickens were going, "Oh my fucking God, there's gooseberries," and scoffing them all.
Yes.
So last night I made my first ever gooseberry fool, which it wasn't really a fool.
I think that was gin and gooseberries and cream.
Gooseberries and cream, and yeah, basically we were so tired by the end of yesterday that I'd done so much cooking that I couldn't really be asked to put much effort into the fool.
Moroccan food is amazing, but it's also quite a lot of effort.
Well, I think it's the way I did it. Anyway, so what are we talking about this week, Joe?
I have no idea. I've started a fire in the garden. I've poured us a gin. I've sat down, and you've pressed go.
Is the fire in the garden under control?
It's all right. It's kind of in a little bricks around. It'll be all right. It'll all fall inwards, and as long as the wind doesn't change, we won't have neighbours knocking on the door.
Good. Okay. So today, if we suddenly disappear in the middle of this podcast, then it's because the entire world is on fire.
Could be.
We should probably put a safety message up. No, we shouldn't. Okay, so this week we're talking about how business and marketing should be fun.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it should. If you're running a business, you should be having fun. Because otherwise it's just, why are you even bothering? If you're not having fun in your business at least once a day, then you're doing something very wrong, I think, or something is going very wrong.
All right.
That's not to say that you're not allowed to have a bad day every now and then, but, the vast majority of your time should be spent having fun, I think.
Should be mostly enjoyable.
Yeah, mostly enjoyable. And the reason that we're talking about this week is because Misty and I were talking last week.
Hi, Misty.
Hi, Misty. And we were just talking about goats and how business should be fun.
Right, okay.
I wish I could have taken a picture of Joe's face then. That was amazing.
That's some insight. Goats and business should be fun.
Well, no, because Misty runs a fitness boot camp over in Canada.
Okay.
And she was talking about ways to make workouts more fun, basically, because the world is full of dull, wordy people doing boring things. And I was like, goat yoga! And she was like, I'm totally going to find miniature goats. And so she's actually been talking to a petting zoo in her neighbourhood about borrowing the goats. And she phoned them up and they were just like, right. And I said, I think you ought to go and see them in person rather than talk to them about this on the phone.
Can you get miniature goats by mail order or something?
No, Joe, no, you can't.
I still we need to sort out Rent-A-Goat one day.
I'd forgotten about Rent-A-Goat.
I would quite like a Rent-A-Goat business, partly because it would keep the undergrowth down in the woodland, and partly because all you'd need would be a couple of goats, a trailer, and some ratchet straps, and a website.
You are not ratcheting goats to a trailer.
Well, when somebody's got, they buy a house and there's a bit of land that needs clearing, you just grab a couple of goats, strap them down on your trailer, whip them over to their house, check the fences and let them loose.
I feel compelled to point out that there is no way that I would let Joe ratchet strap goats or any other creatures onto a trailer. That's cruel and mean.
Goats are sturdy. They can take it.
Anyway.
Rent a goat. Heard it here first, folks.
People are going to steal our idea now you've said that. But, kind of saying that, it sounds like a fun business, Rent-A-Goat.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, and business should be fun. And anyway, so Misty and I were having this conversation, and we have both noticed that there are, loads of uber serious Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups and websites and information out there about how to grow your business and just,
How to be super serious.
How to be super serious and how to market your business and how to be a professional. And it's all boring as shit. All of it. Not all of the information out there, but all of the information that I'm talking about, the kind of serious, boring stuff.
Okay.
It's just boring. If you look at LinkedIn, if you take a look through LinkedIn, have you been on LinkedIn recently?
I have been on LinkedIn recently. I go there every now and again, mostly because there's some recruiting nerk who wants to be my new best friend.
Yeah. But, what do you notice about it? It's loads of suits being dull.
Very serious.
Mostly, on the face of it. And a case in point, okay, so the reason I mentioned LinkedIn is because I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day about somebody bemoaning the appearance of, I don't even know what it was, cat videos and stuff on LinkedIn. It's okay, that I find them a bit annoying anyway, because if I want cat videos, I can just go to YouTube and there's a bazillion of them.
Mm-hmm.
But my point was that this guy was kind of bemoaning, LinkedIn is for business, it's for serious business owners. And I was like, that's such bullshit. Because yes, it's for business, yes, it's for business owners, but there's no reason at all that it has to be serious and full of boring people being boring. And, people, and also it's who appointed him the LinkedIn police anyway? So, if I see a funny meme or something that makes me laugh, I'm going to post it wherever the hell I want, frankly.
Fair enough.
But it kind of just, it just made me think, LinkedIn is a serious forum for serious people. And...
I don't know. I think there's a line to be drawn between having a really dull, unpleasant, dreary business with no personality, style, or enjoyment, and being a really grey, miserable person. And hooray, here's a cat video.
So do I. And if you're just posting cat videos for the sake of it, then people are just going to think you're a spammer and ignore you.
If you're a cat trainer.
But yeah, if posting that cat video serves your business and serves your audience and serves to grow your business, then do it.
Yeah.
Because it's some people probably look at my cartoons, because Harriet posts my blogs and
Hi Harriet.
Hi Harriet. Harriet, and she transcribes it, so I know she's listening. Hi Harriet. You're a superstar. But yeah, she posts my articles and stuff up on LinkedIn, and some of them are very frivolous. Some of the cartoons are ridiculous. They're all of questionable quality, and I can imagine that there are some people out there who sneer at them and are like, what's that shit? That's really unprofessional. And to those people, I say, bye Felicia, because it's my stuff stands out.
Mm-hmm.
Cartoons of questionable quality versus boring ass stock imagery that most people choose to illustrate their blogs with.
Yeah, grey suits.
Grey suits, stock images. Oh my god. Okay, simplest way of all to inject a little bit of fun and personality into your business. Don't ever use a stock image again. And that's it. That's all the value for this podcast.
And that's today's value.
That's today's value. Anyway, so yeah, basically, if you kind of... And I should probably also point out why I want people to be more fun in their business and marketing. Not just
so you want people to be more fun in it. Maybe they're happy being miserable in grey suits.
If they're happy being miserable in grey suits, then that's fine. And I would be surprised if any of those people are listening to this podcast.
You probably pushed them away by now.
I probably have. And people should do what makes them happy. And if they're happy being boring, then that's fine. But
some people are boring.
Well, you say that, but well, okay.
There are some out there.
We've had this argument before. But the other reason for people injecting some fun and personality into their marketing and business is because that is how you will stand out and get noticed. Because in a sea of boring LinkedIn profiles full of boring people in suits being boring and professional, and you can't see, but I'm making air quotes. In a world of people that look and sound like that, if you're the one with the poorly drawn cartoons and lively blog posts, you're the one who's going to get noticed.
Do you think the very serious professional grey suit person, do you think that's actually who they are, or do you think that's a persona they put on for business?
I think that some of them, that's really who they are, because some people like their suits, and that's fine. not judging them. It's the people who are putting that persona on because they've been told that that's what they have to do. I remember when I first started my business, I had so many people giving me their unsolicited, sometimes solicited, but mostly unsolicited opinions about what professionalism was and what I could say and what I couldn't say and what I could wear and what I couldn't wear and, you know, how I should present myself as a big company with lots of people, which is patently ridiculous because I am not a big company. I'm one person. I work with a lot of talented people who will do things for me and who I will refer to. But, you know, for me...
It's like when people call themselves, you know, Jane Smith Associates, and it's like they've got an entire building full of graphic designers and writers and artists and web designers all just sort of sitting around waiting for work.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit disingenuous to be honest, because it's, you know, it's I want people to know what they're getting when they get me. They're not going to get farmed out stuff that I farm out to lots of different people unless it's like design or something, which I don't do. Yeah. But if they come to me for copywriting, they're going to get me.
They're going to get your copywriting.
And if I do subcontract that to somebody else, that's very clear to them at the start is, you know, I'm not going to write this, but I will edit it.
You'll manage the process and edit it.
And... I very rarely do that anyway. Yeah. But yeah, it's me. It's Vicky Fraser copywriter. This is what I do. And so, you know, I kind of ditched the whole, because I started off as Sunflower Communication and Media Services Limited. Do you remember that? Yeah. That's still technically my company name, the one that's registered at Companies House, because mostly I can't be asked to change it. Mm-hmm. But it just makes me laugh because it's like, oh, I need to be something.
I need to be a grown up.
I need to be a grown up. It's like, no, it's taken me like 6 years to realise, no, because I've known that for like 4 years now. But it took me, you know, 2 years to realise that's nonsense. Mm-hmm. You don't, you know, and even if you're in an industry that is traditionally serious, it doesn't mean that you have to be boring. Because the caveats to this entire podcast really is that you have to be aware of your market, your customers, and your product, what you're selling. So, for example, humour and death usually equals disaster. If you're an undertaker, you need to be very, very careful about using humour and injecting, you know, too much personality. But at the same time, if I'm looking for an undertaker for somebody that I love who has died, I want to get a personal service. I want to know who's going to be looking after them. Mm-hmm. I want to know who's going to be looking after me. And so what I don't want is a faceless kind of pseudo-professional organisation that's hiding behind grey suits and woe. Mm-hmm. What I want is an undertaking company or a funeral parlour that gives a shit, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that it's like bells and whistles and unicorns and rainbows, because that's entirely inappropriate. But that doesn't mean that there can be no lightheartedness.
No character.
Doesn't mean there can be no character. Yeah, I mean, what I don't want from, what I wouldn't want from people is like a constant long-faced feeling of woe. It would be, well, let's make this a celebration of the person's life, as well as you know, the tragedy in the morning and stuff. So that's the kind of caveat, is that you've got to, you know, you've got to match your message to your market and all that. Finance is another thing that, you know...
It's complicated, serious business.
It's a complicated, serious business. Money is a serious business, but that does not mean you can't be lighthearted about it in the right place. You
can't be a human being doing it.
Exactly, yeah. If there is a time and a place where humour is appropriate, use it. But otherwise, it's just kind of, just give it a bit of personality. You know, if you're a financial advisor, God, financial advisors... mostly are dull. Accountants mostly are dull. It's like, okay, if you're an accountant and you want to see how to do it really well, go look at Kevin at Prime Entry. He is my accountant, and he is Kevin Whitehouse. He was on last week.
Ah, okay.
He's my accountant, and he's...
I was trying to make you say Prime Entry again a bit more clearly.
Prime Entry.
Is that primeentry.co.uk?
.com, I think. The link will be in the show notes.
Okay. Link in the show notes. Go and see Kevin.
But he is no longer just an accountant. He is, I call him a numbers wizard, but I think he calls himself something different from that. Anyway, my point is, match your message to your market and your product and all the rest of it, and don't, you know, be making jokes about people dying if you're a funeral parlour, because it's probably...
Profit herder.
Profit herder? What's that?
I'm just throwing ideas out there. Someone who herds the profits.
Okay, what you couldn't see there was Joe making a kind of jazz hands herding motion.
Herding. It's the international symbol for herding. I couldn't believe the other day when we were in a restaurant. We went to Bath the other weekend. We were in a restaurant, and it was time to get the bill, and all the staff were doing that studious ignoring thing.
Oh, I hate that.
And, you know, when nobody's putting eyes around the room before they, you just think, God, you need to just look around the room before you leave.
Kind of spoiled the meal because the food was really good.
But then it took ages just to let us pay and leave. Anyway, the point is that Vicky didn't know the international symbol for please may I have a bill. And so you made the wrong symbol and the waiter ignored you.
No, he acknowledged me.
Oh, he acknowledged you and then he did nothing because he didn't recognise the international symbol. And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, did you do the symbol? And you went, no. So I turned around, caught somebody's eye, did the international, I need the bill symbol. 2 minutes later, person with the bill. You need to...
Actually, as a complete tangent and side alley, if you
run... More than that one.
More than that one. If you run any kind of a business where people pay you afterwards, don't make them wait if they're ready to pay you. Make it really easy to pay you because it puts a dampener on the whole evening. No matter how lovely the meal is, if you have to spend ages trying to attract someone's attention to pay them, it's going to piss the person off and you're going to get less of a tip and you're probably not going to go back because I don't want to have to chase around. It's like you should have.
We pretty much got to the point where it was like, right, I'm putting my coat on and we're standing up.
Yeah. And it's like, maybe if we just leave, they'll come chasing afterwards. Because, it's just annoying.
You just got to make your staff, before they go and get the next set of plates or before they go and get a drink or before they go and do something else, before they leave the room, they just...
Sweep the room.
Just sweep the room once and anybody who's looking at you, you go and talk to them.
Yeah. And they should... I mean...
It's not complicated.
Yeah, you should be popping over every, 20 minutes or so anyway. You don't want to be there every 5 seconds going, is everything okay with your meal? But, every 20 minutes or so at least be looking around the room.
They wait for you to get a big mouthful of food before they ask that as well, don't
That's
they?
because they don't want you to say no, it's shit. Anyway. So, okay, yes, where were we?
Back at the ranch.
Back at the ranch.
Herding the profits.
Herding the profits. Yeah. Be fun, be interesting, be personality filled, but, make sure that it's message matched and market matched and all the rest of it. Other than that, though, you can bring fun into most of the stuff that you do. Fun for you, fun for the people reading your stuff, fun for the, work that you're doing, the product that people are buying from you. And the best way to do that, the easiest way to do that is to start with you and your personality. Most marketing is boring. Most businesses are boring because they're bland and beige, because everybody looks around at what everybody else is doing and then does exactly the same.
But does their version of the same beige thing.
This is marketing incest, as Dan Kennedy calls it. And it works the same... Hi, Dan. And it works the same as regular incest in that everybody gets dumber.
Nice.
Yeah. That's not my clever pithy witticism. That's Dan Kennedy's clever pithy
He's pretty good, isn't he?
He's pretty good. So don't, if you're going to look around at what everybody else is doing, do the opposite if you're going to do anything based on that. Don't do the same as everybody else does. So let your own personality out into your business and marketing, but don't cross the line of too much information, because I've seen people do that as well. No airing your dirty laundry in public.
Absolutely not.
Don't, if you're going to, what are you pointing at?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Inside joke. Email me if you want to know what it was. You completely derailed my...
Don't air your dirty laundry.
Yeah, don't air your dirty laundry in public, because it just makes you look small and petty.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, rise above that kind of thing. Grace and dignity is what we're going for. If you've got a genuine grievance to air, then air it privately with the person that you've got to air it with. If you're calling out a general thing for a whole industry, that's fine, you can do that. But if you're picking on one specific person...
But on your company Facebook page, don't go, oh my God, worst client ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a time and a place for doing... I mean, you can anonymise client stories, absolutely, but my strong advice to you is to put a significant time gap between when the thing occurred and when you're writing about it, and make it so that it can't possibly be identified, because it just makes you look... small. It opens you up to all kinds of nonsense as well.
Don't cross the boundary between personality and...
too much information.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing is, my other piece of advice is absolutely talk about your failings and shortcomings and fuck-ups, because they make you seem human, but don't talk about present stuff that you're going through, because nobody wants to give their money to somebody who hasn't got their shit together. So, I mean...
My life's chaos. Here's my bill.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's 100% got their shit together. I'm not claiming that anybody has. But, talk about your problems in the past tense, because
Turn them into a witty anecdote and use them.
Turn them into a witty anecdote, show how you've learned from it, show how other people can learn from it, and don't just be like, oh my god, woe is me, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Because that's just boring and whiny. So yeah, there's ways to do this stuff. And kind of speaking of all of that, you know, this isn't difficult, this marketing thing. It really isn't. People make it difficult because they overcomplicate it, which also, by the way, is boring. Really complicated stuff is boring.
Okay.
It's difficult not to make it boring, unless you are like studying something really in depth for fun and you're kind of interested in the inner workings of the atom and the quark. That interests me. But, you know, to go into infinite detail about anything about your systems and processes when you're marketing to people is just going to turn them right off. Not the time or the place to do it. Anyway, you know, really simple. Keep it simple. You are your brand. Everything that you do, everything that you say, everything that you are seen to be is marketing.
I guess it's if you are genuine and you are being you and you're not wearing this serious business face, then it's a lot less stressful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because when you talk to customers and when they ask you questions and things, they're actually expecting an answer from you, and they're used to seeing you and talking to you, not some act that you have to put on.
Yep.
So it must be, yeah.
Yeah, it's
hard work
easier.
pretending to be somebody serious.
It is hard work pretending to... And, you know, at the same time, if you are quite a serious person and you're going to be pretending to be this, like, really outgoing clown person, that's going to be hard work as well. I'm not saying that all serious people are boring, far from it. What I am saying is be you and inject some life into what you do, because very few people really are dreadfully boring. You know, people have personality. They just need to bring it out.
Allow it.
Yeah. But yeah, do consider that everything that you do and say and everything is marketing. So from the way you answer the phone to your email signature to what you put on Instagram. And Instagram, by the way, I'm loving. I think it's getting me more signups, and the podcast certainly is getting me more signups and more clients. Yeah. And you know, the podcast is not much more personality than what goes into this podcast, but also on Instagram. So on Instagram, I've got all of my circus shenanigans, all of my pole dancing stuff, my skateboard Barbie look.
That was good.
My cartoons.
If that doesn't get people looking for your Instagram, I don't know what will.
Yeah, skateboard Barbie, Instagram. I'm Tree Frog Toe on Instagram. But you know that, I mean, I'm not really using Instagram for business as such. I'm certainly not posting bullshit motivational memes that a lot of people do and inspirational nonsense. But what I am doing is being like, oh, here's my latest vegetables from my garden. Here's the latest thing that the chickens have done. Here's me as skateboard Barbie at a sexy pole dance class. Looking like a Dayglow clown. Because that's what happens. I do clown, not sexy. And here's my latest trapeze combo that I've put up. And it's
not very businessy.
It's not very businessy, but it's working for me in my business because it's differentiating me from all of the other copywriters out there who are just boring. Not all of them. Many of them.
But some of them.
So, yeah. Really, just be yourself. And also, stop giving a shit what other people think about you, because that keeps you boring as well.
Yeah, that's just fair.
If you are constantly worried about what people are going to think of this Instagram post or that Facebook status or this email that you're going to write, you're going to censor yourself. Mm-hmm. It's going to be bland. You're going to
unless you're the kind of person who covers yourself in glitter and posts, you know, inappropriate things to your business.
Who are you thinking of?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Oh, I think you should say. Are you thinking of someone specific?
No, not really.
Oh, I thought there was going to be gossip then.
But yeah, I mean, there's.
Well, if you're a Las Vegas showgirl, then covering yourself in glitter is perfectly.
If you're a Las Vegas showgirl, then inject some personality and show pictures of yourself covered in glitter.
Disco tits.
Disco tits. But, you know, maybe not if you're an accountant.
Well, why the hell not? If you're an accountant by day but a Las Vegas showgirl by night.
It sounds like it sounds like a bad cop drama.
Oh, I'm going to write. That's going to be my novel. Accountant by day, Las Vegas showgirl, stroke, assassin by night. Yeah. I'm a copywriter by day and a pole dancing trapeze artist by night.
True.
Not at the same time, pole dancing and trapeze. That would be difficult. So.
What are we on? Right.
Stop giving a shit about what others think about you. You know, serve your customers. Care about how you're serving your customers and how good your product is and how good your service is, and stop worrying about what your competitors are doing. Because they don't matter.
Because they're not you.
Because they're not you. No. They are them. And if they want to be, some of them are going to be great. They're going to be very, oh man, I remember so-and-so as my competitor because, he was really interesting and he was talking about his, pet rabbits who could do tricks on a tightrope. But then there's like 50 other people who are my competitors that all blend into the same kind of amorphous mass of...
I've got to say, when I've been interviewing people, there's often not much to differentiate them. They've done this project, they've done that project, they've worked on big stuff and little stuff, and many of the people I'm employing are sort of ex-students, recent graduates, and invariably it's the ones that do interesting things that catch my eye.
Yeah, because qualifications can be, you can learn almost any job,
but
relatively easily.
Yeah, but for me, it's the guys who climb, or the guys who do all their mates' vehicle maintenance, or one dude built himself a coffee machine in his garage. I don't know how he didn't blow himself up, but doing things like that is kind of like that differentiates you from the other people.
It does,
or the other stack of CVs I'm reading through that day.
Yeah. It does. I was gonna talk about a whole bunch of other stuff as well, but I think we'll turn this into a separate podcast because we're now at 26 minutes. But I was going to talk about how to make events and training courses and all that kind of thing more fun and interesting. But I think that's a whole podcast on its own, because that should be really good fun as well. And I'm going to end on that note: is don't just fire masses of boring information at people but they won't read it, they won't consume it, they won't do anything with it. You have to make it fun, and the way to do that is make it much, 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 much simpler and much, much, much more sparse. And I know that sounds like, going against what all of the gurus tell you. You've got to give massive value all the time. You don't, because massive value is actually not what most people think it is. It's certainly not piles of dry information that nobody's going to read. So on that note, we'll come back to that another time. But maybe not next week, because next week I've got down resistance is futile.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the Borg. And anybody who gets that reference is one of my people, and you can, get in touch and we can be nerdy over email together.
Okay. Sounds good. Right.
Does. So,
how are we closing?
Well, if you like this podcast, and I know plenty of people do because they tell me, please go to iTunes and leave us a review.
Oh, my Jesus. Did you contact that person back who said they'd like to advertise?
Yes, but don't say anything more about that because... yeah, somebody wanted to give us money to put adverts on our podcast, which just cracked me up.
If you'd like to give us money to not put adverts on the podcast, let us know.
Ooh, I like what you did there. If you're listening, though, and would like to advertise on our podcast, and I like your product and I think it'll be useful for my listeners, give us a shout.
I don't know. I'm resistant.
Are you morally opposed to it?
I'm kind of morally opposed to it.
Are you morally opposed to money?
No. I like money. Do you think anybody would give us gin for advertising? What does Sarah do?
She's a translator.
Sarah's a translator. If anybody needs a good translator, we know one who pays us in gin.
She does not pay us in gin. She pays us in cash money and sends gin.
Okay, she sends gin.
But actually, yeah, that's a very good point. Sarah is proper lovely, and she is a really good example of injecting fun into your business and doing something different from what everybody else in her industry is doing, because she is learning from me in the inner circle and listening and doing all this cool stuff, doing amazing stuff, actually. And she's also a damn good translator. So if you need anything... and she's a nerd as well, which I love. So she's not just a translator, she's a chemical translator.
Jeepers.
German. So, I mean, she's not German, she's English, but she does German translation. From German to English.
It's quite niche.
It is
How
quite
many
niche.
people in need of German chemical translations do you think we've got on the listener list?
Well, there's a lot of German chemical companies out there.
I suppose there are.
Who want to do business in the UK. So if you are one of those companies, or you know somebody who needs some translation doing and it's technical stuff,
Sarah's your girl.
Get in touch with Sarah, and you can do that via me. Or just go to her website, which is chemicaltranslator.co.uk, I think. Off the top of my head. Anyway, if you like this podcast, and I hope you did, please go to iTunes and leave us a review, because it helps us. It makes us feel good. And also, it helps more people to find us, and it helps more people to laugh and learn. Or if you don't want to leave us a review, please share it. If you know someone who enjoys this nonsense, send them a link. Go to vickyfraser.com/podcast, which is where the podcast lives. And, share the link around on social media. Send it to your friends. Anyone who you think might enjoy it. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because if you enjoy it, it's good to share.
If you really enjoy it, send us gin.
If you really enjoy it, send us gin. So yeah, and if like Sarah, you want to learn how to be a bit more fucking interesting in your industry and do things that are exciting and fun, and you're willing to, look around at what everyone else is doing and do something different, then join us at businessforsuperheroes.com/inner-circle and have fun, really.
All right.
Yeah, thanks very much, Joe.
No worries at all. You're welcome.
Right. Be good. If you can't be good, don't get caught. And we will see you same time next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.